for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break. Join us, take a sip. It's time to wait. Hurry on up, we've got people to shake. Time for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break.
Mi gente, it's time for Cafecito Break. Special guest today, Shery Olivo, who is running for assembly in the Bronx. And you know the Bronx and New York City, all eyes have been in New York City. So if you want to see healthy changes in the Bronx, mi gente, today we're chatting with Shery Olivo, who is running for assembly, as I mentioned. And why am I repeating that twice? Because we need la gente to show up for this queen and support her and her journey, not just on voting day, but from this point on. Welcome everyone to Cafecito Break. Please take a moment to like, share, subscribe. The show can be watched on Rumble, X, and porque se me olvidó YouTube via Cafecito Break. Rosangel Pérez, one of the Pérez sisters, and at this point, I'd like to welcome all of you and introduce you to my co-hosts, Kozi and Mark. So, Mark?
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Mark for NY here, former State Assembly, City Council, U.S. Senate candidate in New York. Currently trucking all over the country, but staying involved with New York politics as one of the OG New York freedom fighters, as well as my two other co-hosts, including the one and only Kozi Wellness. Kozi, take it away.
What's going on, everybody? Kozi here, former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine, medical freedom activist, and I'm here today to share the news that Shery Olivo is running, and we're going to hear her story. We're going to hear what she stands for. So, Rose Angel,
Take it away. Just one little note. I don't know if you have, Kozi, your phone next to the computer, because I'm hearing some feedback. But okay, everyone, welcome to the show. As you know, all eyes continue to be on New York. I'm hearing feedback. I don't know who it might
Mark,
be.
I think it might be yours. Just mute.
I've been muted the whole time, so.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, hello everyone. So as we know, all eyes have been in New York City, and New York City every single time we tends to be on the news. Oh no, ¿qué pasó con Shery? Did we lose? Shery, are you still there?
Difficulties don't stop with the communists who control social media.
You know,
You're cutting in and out. We could barely make you out. You sound robotic.
Cutting in and out. It's staticking.
Yeah, maybe if you want to try to come back in.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Okay.
Refresh the screen and log back in. Almost every show we have some type of technical glitches because the communists, the socialists that control social media don't want us to get out the message. And that's why it's even more important that we keep going despite their nonsense and get the message across. So yeah, you might hear some technical difficulties, and maybe it's not the highest production value that you get in a multi-billion-dollar studio, but multi-million, whatever the case may be. But the message is more important because we are fighting corruption, we are fighting tyranny, and we are fighting the people that want to silence us by shadow banning us on social media, causing these technical glitches with the candidate that's trying to make a difference in her community. And this is the type of stuff that we deal with regularly on Cafecito Break. So you could try to say that we're not a professional podcast because of technical issues, but those technical issues are not our fault most of the time. So I just want to point that out there.
Oh, Kozi, you can feel free to respond. I'm going to message Shery to see.
Yeah, it could be also the phone, just being, used, and that could cause the feedback, but we'll see. But anyway, in the meantime, while we're waiting for Shery, you know, let's see
But
what
you
we
know
should
what?
discuss.
We had a pre-production just for everyone on the line. We had a pre-production for 15 minutes. Share we any type of sound issues or anything, we go over everything to make sure everything is good before we go live. And then as soon as we go live, the Kozi gets kicked out, or you know, I have an audio issue or whatever the case may be. It happens almost every single week that we take the time to do a pre-production meeting, to do the sound checks, to do everything proper. And for some reason, once we're live, all of a sudden there's technical issues, and you know, it's not a coincidence at this point.
I want to take a moment to, as we are warming up the feed, Shery is popping back in. She will be with us in just a moment. Taking the time to read some of the comments. Thank you, Mark, for what you said, and Kozi. And I just want to shout out Mark and Kozi because it takes a kind of muscle to be okay to do it live. It really does. And part of it is just being okay with, yeah, I don't know qué está pasando. Bear with us, pero let's bring, oh no, it might not work. We had Shery, it didn't work.
Well, Frank said in the comments, make sure Zoran knows there's a little Italy in the Bronx too. Obviously, you know, Mamdani had uh, his shots at some of the white ethnicities in the country leaving, and the city leaving them out. But you know, we talked about that on the previous week. But Shery is running for state assembly in the Bronx, and for those of you who don't know, what state assembly does. State assembly is basically like the Congress of the state. So you in federal office, you have a U.S. Congress, you have the U.S. Senate, two senators per state, and then you have the president. So in the state of New York, you have the state assembly, which is similar to Congress, the state senate, and the governor, who would be like the executive branch with the federal government with the president. So laws have to pass through the state assembly and the state senate before they're signed into law by the governor. So the state assembly in other states they call it the state house, but in New York and others they call it the state assembly. So Shery popped in and she popped back out, unfortunately. So I don't know what's going on that end, but we did a pre-production and we heard Shery fine and everything was all a okay. And then unfortunately we're live, and now we're having those technical issues as I mentioned before. So
We'll get it
thank
this time. She's back.
but
Put her on. I think it's gonna work now.
Hello, Shery.
Hi, yes.
Ooh, okay. Welcome to the show. I'm so sorry that we've been having the technical difficulties, but I can assure you that if it doesn't work today, we're gonna have you back on when it's smooth. But briefly tell everybody, about your campaign, and we have a few minutes left.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cafecito break, which I'm actually on my Cafecito break.
It must be the
I
communist.
that's, you're taking unexpected breaks here, forced breaks by the connection, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Unfortunately, Shery might not be able to join us, but you could look on her Ballotpedia. Ballotpedia, just so you guys know, is a resource for every candidate that's running. You could look up on the internet who's running in your neighborhood, who's running for state assembly, who's running for state senate, not just the governor race. A lot of times people vote for just the, come because they care about who the mayor is, who the governor is, who the president is, but they don't look at the local offices, the city council, the state assembly, the state senate. And those are the ones that most impact your community directly. So those are the ones that you that have the offices in the community that you go to when you have an issue, when you need things fixed in the neighborhood. Those are the people you need to speak to. So those are the people that you want to have the best people in office to do the job. So Ballotpedia, she actually took the time to answer questions on Ballotpedia. A lot of candidates are lazy when it comes to that. It takes about an hour, sometimes a little less, depending on how detailed you want to get. So she has a lot of, the standard questions on what they call Ballotpedia connection. So just go to ballotpedia.com and you can find out more information about her and the things that she wants to get done. We would have liked to have heard it from her directly, and maybe we still will today. But if not, you could look her up, Google her. She has her campaign website as well. And with that being said, I'll pass it back to Cafecito.
Yeah, I want to just go through her website real quick because we wanted to dedicate the top half hour to Shery. Just wanted just to say that in New York City, in Blue City, anyone who has the courage to run for office and is doing it on a conservative or Republican line, that's very courageous. And I have so much admiration for Shery and the way she is engaging people in the street. She is doing it face to face. She's knocking on doors. She's introducing herself. She's letting people know that there's another choice. She's doing what we criticize a lot of Republicans aren't doing successfully. Not all, because we all know that there are conservative, independents, and Republicans in New York City that are very active and engaged. And yes, before you kill me, yes, Democrats too. Pero all that to say is that it takes great courage to be running in this climate. Shery Olivo is a Dominican American author, entrepreneur, and community advocate, and her leadership is shaped by resilience and a deep love for the Bronx. She's a mother, wife, and small business owner like that. You know why? Because that she's gonna, the fact that you have a mom in this day and age when, and in politics, when you have a lot of young people in politics that I don't even know if they understand how to even be in a successful relationship. Why do I say that? Because you just see by the dynamic of how people are communicating and expressing themselves, right? They don't know how to be in family ship. They're not married. They don't have children. And we have, I think that we need a balance of representation and everything in office, not just single people who absolutely have nothing, no idea about small businesses. I feel like small business owners would have never co-signed bike lanes, for example, in New York City, the way they have taken over, because a lot of these bike lanes have actually taken away from the potential optimal business money making for small businesses. So I'm happy to hear about that. Una mama, Christian. A lot of Latinos, a lot of people in New York are just simply, and just Americans, they're turned off by how extreme the leftists have become and have been sort of like the big mouths of the party. So yeah, let's try one more time to see if we could bring Shery up. Shery, let's see if it's in the cards for us today. If not, we'll reschedule. Tan linda.
I'm here.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
we could hear you. We just can't see you now. But let's see if we could if we could hear why you decided to run for office, and the things you want to accomplish. We'll start with that. Hopefully, we could get it without any connection and interruptions.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Doesn't look like it's in the cards today. I mean,
Is there a way she can call in?
Oh, Shery, you know what? Why don't we try this? Call my number and I'll put you close. It won't be.
Yes.
So we'll do that. Ghetto Productions all the way. Thank you, audience, for bearing with us.
Nah, we're not ghetto, bro.
I,
We're
I've
chilling.
I've been in a studio before where you
Chill,
sometimes
chill.
during live broadcasts you have a microphone that will go out and they'll cut the camera to my co-host and he'll carry on the conversation while they come and change my mic and then we'll continue on like it's nothing. So right there you're improvising to put her on speaker and on the phone and that way we could at least hear from her today. Obviously it's not ideal, but once again the message is more important than the quality when it comes to even sometimes on location. I was at the 50th anniversary of Rucker Park, and there were former Knicks players and
Hello.
New York
Hello.
Liberty
Oh,
players.
we have her.
Beautiful. Okay.
Can everybody hear Shery? Okay. Wow. Thank you for bearing with us. And we're being mindful of the time. The floor is yours. Welcome to the show. And hopefully, I think that God is telling us, Shery, that the next time we have to go to you and do it like an in-person cafecito break. I think that's what it is.
I think I like that better.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on this show, guys. I'm actually having my cafecito break right now too.
Oh, I love that. Well, okay, bueno, one of the questions that I want to lead off with is what has inspired you to run for office for assembly in the Bronx?
Well, let me tell you, and I'm glad you asked me that question because a lot of people get into politics either because they know somebody in politics, either their family, either they've been in politics, they're chiquitico, and that's how they grew up. Others are in it for ambition, but there's something different about why Shery decided to run, and it's because behind this campaign, there's blood, there's pain, and there's tears, which is the loss of my nephew, Juan Peña, who got shot, died, and killed in District 86, right in the corner of Park Avenue and East Tremont. The death of my nephew was what awakened me to speak up on public safety and to be a voice for the unheard.
Wow. And how do you feel? I mean, rest in peace to your nephew. I am so sorry. How do you feel with the messaging when you hear of politicians and even educators defund the police?
I feel very upset, and I just feel like I can't believe that in New York City, one of the most important cities that there is, we're actually having this debate of defunding the police. And I don't even know how in District 86 they approve that when they know that District 86 is one of the most violent and most dangerous districts, not only in New York City, but in New York State. You do not defund the police when you know that crime is high. Do you know that when we had open borders, everybody from their mother came in here?
Yeah.
And I suffer the consequences of that because I lost my nephew.
How do you feel when you see some of the politicians who are in office now and the way they are engaging with even people in your community that you are seeking to represent?
Well, they don't engage. I've never seen them engage with the community. Who is it? Who are they? I'm trying to look for those. Who are those politicians who are actually engaging with the people and not the system? Because I'm trying to look for them, Rosa Angel. I haven't seen them. When Juan Peña died, I reached out to each and every one of them, and everybody gave me silence. Not even condolences for my family and I. So this is where I come in. District 86 needs a transformation. We need to work for the people, not the system. When is a real person going to actually step up and defend the people the way they need to be defended. Be a voice for those parents, for those moms that don't have a voice. And that's where I step in. That's where I say that District 86 needs a transformation. And Shery Olivo will be the transformation that this district needs. And it's about time that takes place and that happens.
Yes. What is the support looking like for you and the people who are learning and want to support you? Where can they donate to your campaign and even volunteer?
Absolutely. Well, listen, this campaign has had a lot of challenges, okay? But I'm a fighter. And that's what District 86 needs. A woman that doesn't back down, a woman that will fight for the very end, regardless of the challenges that we've been faced in this campaign, okay? I am running on the conservative line, okay? And I just ask my district and my constituents, we need a change. We need a transformation. This is not about a political party. This is about people who want to do the work for the community, with the community.
Yeah, I agree with that, and thank you for stepping up. What you said is key right there. This is clearly for you. It's not about party. Clearly, it's about what is happening, and the fact that.
And
Wait, hold on. I just realized that she might not hear. Okay, say that again, Kozi.
Oh, I was saying clearly for you, it's not about party, right?
Wait, I may have to do this. Okay, speak.
You know what, Rosangel, just talk to her directly
Okay,
because it'll
all right,
be
sorry.
easier. I will save just you do it.
Okay,
I'll
sorry.
just say it sounds like we need to 86 the current leadership in District 86 and get Shery there.
So Shery, Mark is saying that it seems like we need to 86 the person who's running for district. Wait, the person who's already in. Who are you running against?
86
Okay,
the current
I'm glad you guys
leadership
asked
in
that
86.
question. So I'm running against the Democratic, who is actually the Assemblywoman that's there right now. I'm also running against a paper candidate that the Bronx GOP decided to place on the Republican line, and then Shery Olivo on the conservative line, which is a real candidate and who's the one that's actually out there in the community running a campaign.
Look at that. Boots on the ground, and this is what we support here in Cafecito Break. Shery, what else would you like to share about your campaign, about what you're looking forward to, and what you would like, and how you would like to serve your district?
Absolutely. One of the things that I want everybody to know about this campaign, this is a campaign that it's not being supported by any political major party. Okay, I am running on the conservative line. So this is Shery and her community, Shery and the people. Okay, I have faced so many challenges that I could have backed down from everything that I've been through. And Shery decided that I cannot do this to District 86. I would never do this for my community. They need a real fighter. They need a person that's going to be there with them, listening to their concerns, fighting for them, bringing the resources that are necessary to have a better and safe district that everyone is entitled to have. Fighting for better quality education. And you know why? Because I live this. My kids go to public school. So I'm living every single day the failed policies that our communities are facing, which is a weak education system, which is trash. The education system that we receive here is garbage. Okay, because I have to sit down as a parent with my kids and educate my kids of things that they don't do in school right now. So shame on the school system. And what's even worse, that we're spending $30,000 per child in the school system. And it's still failing our kids, and it's still failing families. So something needs to be done. And I'm ready to work with the principals. I'm ready to work with parents and with teachers so that we can better our education system and have grades 70 and above with our kids, not 16 and under.
Yes, amen. You said a lot there. The working with the parents, a lot of parents are being left out of the conversation. And also, there seems to be all this money that seems to be going up at the top, but we don't really see it benefiting the children. So I'm grateful that you are running. Thank you again for joining us on Cafecito Break. And mi gente, the next time you see us with Shery is gonna be in person.
Yes, please. I know we're having all these technical issues, but listen, let's get the message out there. This is a people's campaign, okay? This is a face-to-face campaign. I'm out every day in my community, meeting all these beautiful and great people from District 86, all my constituents. It's just amazing the love and the acceptance that I'm getting from a district that for far so long has been abandoned. Okay, and I need them to give me an opportunity to so that we can do things better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to take this moment too for any of the independent media out there to take a moment. This is a candidate you'd want to interview. We already know what happens. Mainstream doesn't really give a lot of airtime to candidates like Shery, but that they're people that are needed in our communities. Remind people where they can learn more about you again on the internet.
Of course, they can go to my website, SheryOlivoForNewYork.com. They can also look at my Instagram, Shery for New York. I also have a Facebook, Shery for the Assembly. And yeah, so please, you can volunteer for my campaign. You can donate to my campaign. Any independent media, I'm willing to give them an interview so they can know, who Shery Olivo is and what are my proposals and my plans for District 86. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I know that I'm ready. I'm ready. I have all the energy, and I know District 86 wants a transformation, wants a change, and I know Shery Olivo is going to bring that to the district.
Remember that name, Shery Olivo. Well, mira, we are applauding you. God bless you, mamita. Thank you for your patience with us and hanging out with us. And we got the message, and we're going to be sending it across our social media platforms. Muchas bendiciones to you y hablamos pronto, okay?
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Wow. Gents?
Yeah, it's unfortunate we couldn't. We're delayed with all the issues, but at least we were able to hear her loud and clear. She's obviously very enthusiastic about running and making a difference in the community. Obviously, she's a long shot, but the thing is, a lot of people they don't show up to vote, and that's why New York is where it is, because a lot of Republicans assume that they don't have a chance to win, so they don't show up, and then it just makes it that much easier. And I don't even want to get into Curtis Lee on that shit show with how stupid everyone was and the one chance we had to win by the Democrats splitting the vote, and they decided to ruin it by voting for Cuomo. You got to stay united. You got to come out and show up and help out and get people. We could red pill people. It just takes a lot of us to do it. I was out on the streets and I spoke to people who were Democrats, and they ended up voting for me. I went into the Lions Den into a meeting in Coney Island where a former Democrat candidate invited me to meet his supporters after he lost his primary, and we had an unscheduled debate with my Democrat opponent. I was in a room with all Democrats, and they liked me better than the Democrat candidate because of the way I presented myself, the way I explained why it's better to do it this way instead of that way. And that's what needs to be done. And it needs to be done by as many people as possible. Going out and voting is one thing, but going out and knocking on doors and speaking to people in the community and explaining to them the things that you want to accomplish and how Democrats are destroying the city, and they've been doing it for a very long time. And it's every major city in the country. They raise the money for the homelessness and the mention of the comments how much money is spent on education, but people are getting worse and worse. Like the quality of the education is no good. The money being wasted on putting homeless people in luxury hotels on the Upper West Side instead of building or finding permanent housing. The way things are done by Democrats, it's destruction by design because they want to implement communism, and the only way to do that is to destroy society and make people dependent on the government, which is what we don't want. And the only way to stop that is to stop being complacent and go out there and help. Yes, local candidates in heavy Democrat districts don't necessarily have a chance to win. In a lot of cases, it's a long shot. But even if you get 5% more than the year you got before, that's a step in the right direction. It might take 10 years before we get Republicans back in office in some places in New York. But if you don't try, if you don't go out there and run, then we just leave it to just the Democratic candidate, no Republican or conservative running in that district, then the people don't have a choice. And Shery said from the beginning, people will have a choice in District 86 because a lot of times in these districts, the Democrat is running unopposed because Republicans don't want to run because they feel that they don't have a chance because it's an extreme long shot. But one step at a time, we gotta continue fighting, continue making a difference. Little by little, we can make it happen. As
Her
long as we don't.
story, yeah, her story is very like I don't know anything about her, but the fact that she brought that story up, I felt it in her voice, I felt it in her spirit that she is real. She's going in because she wants to make a legitimate change, and I think that just that alone will be able to mobilize people. And I think if she goes to the right places, hits all the churches, goes everywhere, goes on independent media, we can connect her to different independent media. We can get our message out. But people, she's going to need volunteers. We got to see if we can get her volunteers, see what we can do. People, we have to mobilize against these disgusting captured people. These are fake politicians everywhere, either DSA or New World Order people being run. We got to gut these out. We got to gut this out. This system is so corrupt, so disgusting. It's not human. It's machine. It's globalist, and it needs to go. The DSA is disgusting. It needs to go. It is not American. It is unconstitutional. The thoughts they have, the ideas they have for this republic is everything against what the United States stands for. These people need to go. And what she mentioned about defunding police and all this, they're doing this because they want to create instability. And that's how they capture a country. That's how they capture a city. That's how they capture a town. When you have instability, they come in and take over. This is a takeover, and we need to stand our ground and go up against these disgusting, evil people. They are pure evil. When you tell me you're going to allow boys to compete with girls, that is pure evil. Okay? We know there's a biological difference. We know that men can break women. Okay? They can break their bones. They can break their bodies. This is pure evil. And they're trying to say it's about equality. It's not about equality. It's satanic. It's evil. It's disgusting. It needs to go. About this crime. There's so much crime out there. There's so much mental illness, and you're going to remove police officers? How sick is this? It's so twisted. We need to save New York. So whenever we see candidates like this, we need to support them because we know they're real people. I don't even have to know the rest of her. I don't even know her rest, but I'm going to look into it before I can say, hey, I endorse it fully. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see what she's done, what she's about. But just that alone, I felt it in her voice that she's real. She's real. She's not being bankrolled. Okay, this is not a bankrolled person. This is a real person, and we need real New Yorkers to stand up.
Thank you, Kozi. We have had some videos on our channel that have gone semi-viral, and with that have come comments and questions that I really truly appreciate from the audience. One of them is people have a desire to see New Yorkers like us coalesce more, and they're starting to learn the faces of New York, the big mouths of New York. And, they want to see a more of a unified action against whatever this is. Everything in steps, right? There's the, in my hopium. Oh, I would love that. But some of us here have known some of these humans for 10 plus years. And believe me, we get into it and we argue ourselves with some of the people that are maybe we are fighting for maybe 82% of the similar things. So there's a lot of roosters in the pen. Now, one way that can be mediated without all the roosters in the pen and all the action and energy that takes to try to figure that out is just coalesce behind candidates like Shery. And there are other candidates too that are running, like Brandon Castro. We bring them onto the show. They're running in New York City. Look them up, please, because while we're all like huffing and puffing and just upset about TDS or the takeovers or what's Israel or Palestine or Muslims, there's real stuff happening right under our noses. And some of the people with the monies who can put influence in campaigns, they are disconnected. So like with the Cuomo campaign, that was all fluff for the TV. There was a very skeleton crew of boots on the ground. How do we know? Because those of us who were boots on the ground, we saw it. Now, what did we also witness? That Zoran, his boots on the ground was well funded because it came with beautiful big posters that his volunteers or people who were working, they spent time going to all of these different neighborhoods, engaging bodegueros. I made a video earlier today. Not all urban brown or urban folk there's people coming into the city cosplaying. There are straight up people cosplaying to be Latinos and they're not. There are people cosplaying to be whatever the ethnicity it is for the constituency that is predominantly they might serve. Now, at the same time, we have liberals and wokey pokies moving in deeper into Brooklyn, displacing black and brown folks and working class people who are tired and not engaged. But they are engaged. I see them every day. And in my neighborhood, before I pass it on to my gents, I'll tell you about the neighborhood because I live in Williamsburg. I'll tell you about the little actual conversations I witnessed. The other day, I witnessed a woman who was saying that her job was to train others on how to be an ally, how to be a good ally. Imagine with all the problems that we have in the world. Another person was talking about how something on a website with socialism and Act Blue. Oh, so if I don't believe that there's a connection to Act Blue and socialism and maybe DSA, I'm hearing it in the streets without even trying to hear it. It's everywhere. They're everywhere. This mindset is everywhere, but it's a transplanted mindset. Now, I'm going to tie it in together with what Shery said and the unfortunate death of her loved one. These transplants and newcomers are some of the biggest ones that scream defund the police. But a lot of the newcomers are illegal, so of course they don't want to get in trouble with the law. And the transplants, some of them have guilt or elitist guilt, so they want to get involved. But what these two groups fail to see is that their plight is not the same plight as the people who are actually residents in the neighborhood. Because when crime happens, when somebody needs a wellness check, when there's a fight in your building, when somebody is stealing packages in your building, who are you going to call? The mental health folks? the
These people need to
DSA
vote.
army,
These
the
people need to vote.
nonprofits that Zoran wants to engage. So they brag about having less comps, but guess what? When they are looking for places to house migrants, people who are mentally need more support, they will look to put those people in black and brown places or anything that matches the main ethnicity, so they hide it. So we get used in every single way except for the benefit of whatever is happening in our communities. I am tired of that. To cry defund the police is not is to our detriment. And I'm saying that understanding there's problems in every type of leadership. There is corruption in police force and we criminality and racism, as is there everywhere. Mark or Kozi?
So, no Freedom 702 commented that it just, when I was talking before about how I was pilling people, that goes to show Democrats are more moderate than people realize. The biggest thing here is a lot of Democrats and even independents are so brainwashed by the media that Republicans are racist, because that lie was repeated since Obama took office, that if you didn't vote for Obama, it's because you're a racist, not because you're Republican and you have conservative ideology. It's because you're a racist. And a lot of people don't even know what the ideology is. It's, when you go and you explain to people on, some of the local issues, Democrats are against school choice. And when you explain school choice to people, and they, tend to go with that, maybe, but the media wants to focus on things like abortion, which is a federal, national issue or statewide issue, or not necessarily a local city council or mayor issue, but they'll bring it up in local elections that have nothing to do, like the mayor has nothing to do with abortion. And you talk about other things like cutting spending and lowering taxes. That's a Republican thing. We don't want to waste millions of dollars on gender studies classes in schools. Like, we don't want to throw that money away. We don't. You see the things that they waste money on in the MTA and just all across the city. The things that are so wasteful that could be used for good. I mentioned before the homeless, how they're putting them in luxury hotel apartments on the Upper West Side, when they could have, for months, when they could have paid for a lease for years in that same time frame. So the Democrats who are running things just look at the city funds as a blank check that they could just always, come up with taxing people. The solution is always just tax people more. And when you think, well, we're only going to tax rich people more, that's always the solution until the rich people leave, like they've been doing. And then you, like Margaret Thatcher, like, socialism works until you run out of people to other people's money. And that's what happens in New York, because the rich leave, they go to Florida where they pay no state income taxes, or Texas or Tennessee or Nevada in my case. And in my case, I was doxxed by my financial services job, so that's a whole different story. I'm trucking, I'm barely in New York. There's no reason for me to pay taxes in New York if I'm not even home most of the time anyway. So, um, but yeah, the rich people that they're taxing, they left, and the point is, you explain to people what, Republican ideology actually is, and why we feel the way we feel on issues other than abortion, because some people are just so brainwashed with that. Sometimes you can red pill them, sometimes you can't. But when you talk about the local issues, they start to listen, and they'll vote for you. But too many people think the R stands for racist when it comes to Republicans, and that's what the fake news did to a lot of the brainwashed people, and especially in the major cities like New York.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. And like a lot of things you were saying is like basically if you stick to the local issues, most people
I don't know if you just cut out on my end, Kozi, or can you hear him?
Oh, it was me. It was me. I muted myself by accident. I don't know where I started, but basically, a lot of things you're saying is right. Like, I think most New Yorkers, I don't know about most, but a good amount of New Yorkers would probably agree with most of the local issues that we have, right? But they turn, they turn our heads and talk about abortion. They talk about racism and TDS. They talk about, things that polarize people. The Gaza situation. Why are you asking a mayor what he thinks about Gaza? He has no control over Gaza. He has, it's not a federal issue. The whole mayoral thing was focused on Gaza. Stop talking about it. Talk about New York City. And it's a lot of ignorant New Yorkers too who think that the mayor has power over this. You got to get educated what local politics means. New York City mayor has nothing to do with Ukraine, has nothing to do with Gaza, has nothing to do with that. And the abortion issue, again, New York, it's codified. You're not losing your abortion. So you can abort all you freaking want. They're not taking it away from you. So let's stick to the real topics are we safe? It's not safe here. There's more mental illness than I've ever seen in my whole life. There's more drug addicts everywhere. I went on the train this weekend. I go all the time. But this weekend particularly, I try to sit down. I go into a cart and there's homeless sleeping. 5 of them in one cart. Then I go to the next. There was 3 of them in a cart. It smelled like rotten sardines, rotten vinegar, rotten cheese, rotten pickles. And you're paying $3 to do this. And on top of that, there was I'm not going to say much, but almost another physical altercation happened. Don't want to talk about that right now. But what I'm saying is New York City's in trouble. And then they freeze the rents. It sounds good for the tenants, but it's going to bankrupt New York even further. They're going to not invest here, and you're going to see your rents skyrocket. Your rents are going to skyrocket. I'm telling you right now, this is what's going to happen. Then, once these developers stop building, good luck. Good luck with what's going to happen here.
Kozi didn't want to talk about his knocking people out when they have a fuck around find out moment.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I'm just joking, but yeah, Cafecito, you want to chime in here? Or?
When different things come to mind, like when you said that Zoran, like for someone who said that he wasn't going to go to Israel, he really sticks his nose in international affairs. Like, stick to just presiding over New York City. But no, like, how do you guys feel about learning that one of his staff members was going to meet with a rep from the UN, from Iran? At the UN, I believe.
He's out of
story
place.
correct.
He's got no power to do that. I'm glad they shut it down. This guy is a pipsqueak. He's just the worst. The worst. That smile's gotta go. He does things like this. You're gonna meet with somebody from Iran. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you, Zoran? And I have all these losers commenting on my page, and I'm gonna embarrass each and every one. Keep coming at me. I'm gonna screenshot, and I'm going to expose you. There's several running their freaking mouths when they don't know shit about history. They don't know shit about economics. Wake the fuck up, okay? Educate yourself before you speak to me, okay? Because I am going to, one at a time, you're going to get destroyed, and I'm going to take those screenshots, and they do it to educate others, not just to embarrass you, even though that's great. I love embarrassing you guys, but on top of that, okay, we're going to educate others, and they're seeing it. They're seeing it, and it's having an effect. So keep talking your crap. The fact that you're supporting a socialist and you're proud to be called a socialist, you're proud to be called a communist, get the fuck out of this country. Get the fuck out.
Unfortunately, it's a common thing in politics where people overpromise things that they can't do, and they take advantage of the fact that most people don't understand politics and don't understand what people are actually capable of. And that goes on both sides, because there was a Republican candidate who was running for office, and I was having a conversation. It's like, what do you want to accomplish? He's like, I want to end abortion in New York. I'm like, You're one state assembly member. Like, your one seat will not accomplish that, like, at all. Impossible. So what are you even doing? Like, why do you even say that? And Zoran talking about Trump and de Blasio when he was running for re-election for mayor is like, I beat Trump before and I'll beat him again. It's like, what do you mean you beat him? You never beat him in anything in your life. What are you talking about? But and Zoran bringing up Trump and trying to say that Cuomo is Trump's guy and like throwing that into the mix. So it's they throw things out on national or international politics and not what they're going to do for New York City. I don't care what the person's opinion is on the Middle East if they have no say in what goes on in the Middle East. I want to know what they're going to do in the office that they're capable of actually doing something. That's what matters. And unfortunately, a lot of people are blinded by the BS. The defund the police thing, going back to Democrats being more moderate than people think, most Democrats do not want to defund the police. And that was going on in 2020 during my election. Most people do not want to defund the police. You interview people that live in the projects, they want more police. They don't want to defund the police. Most people have the common sense to realize that more police means less crime and they want to feel safe, and that matters more than this political BS trying, where a cop in a state or 1,000 miles away does something, so you're burning down NYPD cars when the NYPD didn't do anything, and
Yeah.
it's
And
insane.
the only people who want to defund the police are criminals, elitist transplants who have never lived in New York, just got here, and the people who want to destroy and destabilize this country. Those are the only people, real human beings with families, okay? Real human beings with families who do not want to defund the police, okay? And on top of what you were saying, the politicians, they take advantage of people who are not educated, okay? Like you just said, all these things have nothing to do with the mayor, nothing to do with their positions, their Senate seats, their assembly seats, but politicians will take advantage of these low information voters, low IQ people, Common Core educated freaking New Yorkers. Okay, that's who they take advantage of.
No,
Learn and
could
educate
have
yourselves.
you could have a PhD. You could be a rocket scientist and not know what a state assemblyman is. It's just different. You could be really smart in your own field and just not follow politics.
Well, they
And
gotta
what
educate themselves.
the politics that you do follow is when you turn on CNN and you think that's the news, but it's just brainwashing.
Maybe we should start testing people. Like before you vote, you gotta have you gotta understand things about politics a little bit. You gotta
Yeah, but
understand.
that's a slippery slope because once you require testing for somebody, then they can move the bar more and more,
Yeah,
and
I'm joking. I'm
then,
just saying
then
things that
I
to be
know,
silly.
but that's something that a lot of people have brought up. So I'm just putting out because it sounds like a good idea, but in reality, and the government might want to implement that because the government will control which answers are correct, and the
You're
next thing
right. No, I thank you for
the
bringing that up. That's a great point. And that's exactly why we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, because that's an argument even on the conservative side that you people bring up often, and that's the cons of when you go down that slippery slope.
Great,
So
excellent
this is
response.
why I really appreciate doing the show with you guys. There's a couple of comments that I'd like to respond to, and grateful that this was brought up. The stuff that's happening in the churches. So recently, just to real quick, a 36-year-old man was arrested for allegedly being the person seen on video throwing Molotov cocktail at a house of worship in Queens, and he's accused of attacking also Iglesia Bautista El Mesías and Kingdom Hall with a little fireball. But this is just one incident. There have been reports that I have caught of like There's been some churches that have caught on fire in Brooklyn. I don't know how they go, but just little things that I pay attention to, and just rises in church attacks. There, some of the people that want to take over blue cities, that hate religion, for me, to each his own. Freedom of religion, right? Leave people alone. These people are obsessed with say, like, taking down Christianity, for example, in Christian churches. So just, if you're in a house of worship, just be careful, be mindful. There's some people with venomous hearts that see, for example, view Christians as Christo-fascists. And we learned that the hard way when, once a blue moon, there was a local Brexit event in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, that was shut down by Antifa. And they also had taken anyone who was participating in the event, or even like just community partners, which included us, and they took a screenshot and was passing it around, identifying everybody on that flyer. And under us, they put us as Christo-fascist anti-vaxxers or something like that. I didn't even know what Christo-fascist was in my life, because if you hear Cafecito Break, I don't really focus on talking about Christianity, but we got pinned as Christo-fascists, and they look at Christianity like that. So when we're also
Big
seeing,
fuckers, man.
yeah, no, and look, it might not be super them, but just the idea of even things being introduced in law, how people who were citing religious reasons or trying to have exemptions for vaccines or something like that, like, being Christian is getting weaponized, not just legally, but also just be mindful. I'm not
I'm
trying
glad
to
you
be
mentioned
fearful,
that up.
but just wanted to put that out there.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because you just reminded me. Remember when we were at that event, the Brexit event, when they moved it, they had to actually move it, and it was in Astoria, near the projects in Astoria, and some guy actually snuck in, one of these Antifa dweebs. He snuck in, and they caught him. They had to drag him out. But these people are so sick, full of hatred, that they just want to destroy anything, any conversation. They hate free speech, and we were there for many reasons, right? It was like anti-vax message. It was like about, it was a whole bunch of topics there, right? But the fact is that they just don't want a difference of opinion. They want to shut down your opinion. And these people are dangerous. They're mentally ill, most of them, emotionally disturbed. But yeah, man, it's a real serious threat. You guys got to be careful. They like to dox people.
Yes, they
And
do.
they like
And
to
they threaten
destroy.
to dox people, which is why that event got destroyed originally in Williamsburg, where it was going to be hosted, because they threatened to dox Antifa, kept calling the location, and was threatened to dox the people who worked in that location if they allowed the event to continue. Like, it's like, can you imagine, for those of you who are like diehard Brooklynites like me, like, I'm egotistical about being a Brooklynite. For me, I'm like, what's going on with this? You guys think you're gonna bring this to my turf, but yeah, they are, and they're not getting a lot of pushback either.
Yeah. What can we
Get
say?
tremendo bullshit. Are we winding
Let's
down
think of
comments?
some positive messages.
Some
Bring back
positive
the
mentions.
positive.
Oh, you know what? Let's read some of the comments.
Yes, go
I
for
love
it.
some of the comments. Okay, Shery Olivo needs to spread her name out in Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and Manhattan. Yeah, and she needs supporters. Zoran had tents set up with all of those under 30s, free shirts, big posters, taking free stuff, Sunnyside, Woodside, Astoria. Yeah, you just reminded me, I was seeing some footage of when he announced that the free buses, I just lied because there's no free buses. when he announced about the buses, it's no longer free. He's saying that they're going to be increased by 6 minutes, 6 minutes saving you 6 minutes of your precious time. And he had some protesters out there upset. I mean, people are seeing quickly how they fell for that smile.
Yep, politicians lie to get votes and don't follow through. It's nothing new. I mean, free to promising people free stuff is an easy way for them to vote for you, but actually delivering is a different story. But I think we do got to start wrapping up with final comments, at least final thoughts, at least on my end. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away recently. I mean, in recent years he's been had some issues or whatever, but people questioned how they got to him, since he doesn't have a wife or anything like that, and how he who called 911. But anyway, regardless, that's just in the news. The other thing I wanted to get into a brief detail with, that I did a video on, that you could check out on my Instagram, is the Conor McGregor fight, which I think was a scam, because Conor McGregor was injured. There's a video showing him leaving a pain clinic 4 days earlier. And the reason why I'm pissed off, 92% of people, according to ESPN bets, the bet on Conor McGregor. Why? Because he's the popular name. A lot of people don't know the other guy, even though Max is a better fighter and he was the favorite to win. Conor McGregor was an underdog. But the point is the corruption that goes on in sports that ruin the sport. And the other thing is, people pay thousands of dollars to go see him. There are probably people who flew in from Ireland who are fans of his and spent thousands of dollars. But he doesn't care, because he's going to show up knowing that he's injured, and put and ruin that moment for the people who spent so much money to go see him live, just to see him get injured. And then there's the people that feel bad for him. Well, meanwhile, he just scammed everybody, made 30 million. Now they're trying to hype up another rematch so they can make more money. And it's very disheartening, because sports is an escape. I know people like to talk about it being a distraction, but so is binge watching Netflix. So is any type of entertainment is a distraction. And if you want to be distracted from how cruel the world is and actually enjoy something, whether it's going to a fight, going to a basketball game, or whatever the case may be, then distractions are sometimes welcome. It's okay to not worry about how crappy the world is 24/7. So, I was pissed off, because I liked Conor McGregor, and I think he's a piece of shit now, because he should have postponed the fight. Instead, he wanted to make the paycheck and get a third fight out of it and make more money, because he's a selfish piece of shit. And that's basically how I feel about that. It has nothing to do. I didn't lose. I bet a $10 bet for fun, because I was rooting for him. So I'm not worried about me losing $10. So I'm more concerned about the people that spent thousands of dollars on travel and the tickets and the hotel to go see him, just so that he could scam them and have them waste their money. So the biggest 24.8 million in tickets sold to T-Mobile Arena was a record for the fight. Um, and it's just a shame that it happened the way it is. For more details, you could have a 3-minute video on my Instagram on that. I do cover sports every now and then, but the point is the corruption in sports with referees, whether it's soccer, basketball, football, the corruption really needs to be punished more severely, because it's very real. Vegas, you're talking about Vegas loses billions of dollars if Conor McGregor wins, and wins billions of dollars if he loses. So the fix was in, and it's just a shame.
That is a shame. So we're distracted. So people who are distracted with sports, I guess some of them have to know that it could be also a distracted illusion set up for us. I mean, I don't judge it. I like to binge watch on Netflix too, but I hear you, Mark, on that. It's disheartening. I think that for me, one of the wake up calls is a little different. when I was at MTV, and when there's a catastrophe and people are raising money, oh, let's donate, and all the stars get together and they're singing, and all this money is gonna go over here, and then God showed me firsthand that the money wasn't really going to where it needed to go. I didn't see
That's
how the
always the case.
I didn't see how the resources were translating. And I have to tell you that was a defining moment for me. And when Cafecito Break was birthed, one of the foundations is local, is what we're going to focus on. Because I have realized that as Americans, there is a lot to distract us to spend money outside of the United States. Why? Even when it's donate to this puppy and it's out overseas, donate to this and it's overseas. But what about donating to homeless children who are in shelters in New York? Like things that are tangible that you can touch. I want to start doing my wrap up comment. I'll pass it to Kozi and include a comment that Frank made earlier. These transplants talking about Palestine at the Sunnyside Farmers Market are the only conversation I have with these people is about the dogs and at the dog run. He could have been saying that about the park that I passed in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, because it's the same thing. Transplants, advocating for Palestine, and hanging out with the dogs at the dog run. And some of these transplants are also the ones that are involved in supporting more bike lanes because, climate change. And they don't realize that supporting more bike lanes is derailing the working class in the neighborhoods that need those spaces so that they can go to work and then find parking. So to me, these people are being used as puppets for the elite and they don't even know it. You're making working class folks' lives miserable, and by your naivete and your guilt for whatever privilege you may or may not have. My request is please re-examine. If you want to be supportive, really get to know not just the local causes that are in style, the brand causes. No, what's really happening? Get to know the people in your neighborhood. And get involved, because that really is an eye-opener and a game changer. Kozi?
I'm gonna just leave you guys with a response here. So somebody commented, Mamdani has become a barometer for good and decency. If you don't like him, I can't trust you. And this is my response. Mamdani has become a barometer for economic literacy. If you think his policies are sound, I can't trust your math. If you think every failed socialist experiment just wasn't real socialism, I can't trust your history. And if you still can't spot the fake grassroots movements that paved the way for the World Economic Forum's you'll own nothing and be happy agenda, I can't trust your pattern recognition skills. That's dedicated to all these extremist socialists that are flooding my page. And I labeled it When Socialism Meets Reality. So keep commenting on my page. I get a kick out of it, and we educate everybody at the same time. So you guys are going to lose in the end because socialism fails every time. Every country it's been started, every country, every form of it that has been tried fails. So you guys will fail, and you'll come back to the table, and we're going to win because evil never wins. And I'm not saying the people who support it are evil. They're just, they just got suckered. They just got suckered. Their followers, most of them are just followers. They're not leaders. You guys got suckered and you're going along for the ride and you're going to feel pain. They're going to make you feel pain because that's where it ends. Communism, socialism, Marxism, it comes from Marxism. All of that leads to pain and poverty. And they're going to kick you in the face with their boots. So you better wake up, go back and read history, and we're right. and we're leading humanity the right way, we won't allow it to happen. So thank you all who are fighting with us, who are spreading the messages of creation, creating, being creative, love, keeping families together. All of that is about creation. Anything other than that is for destruction. So, you know, that's all I gotta say. We're gonna push humanity forward. Love you guys.
Love you
So
guys.
I just want to respond to one of the comments. No Freedom 702 said he's running for politics in Ireland. He's referring to Conor McGregor, who announced last year that he was running for president, but he dropped out actually late last year. And the reason, check this out, this is even more corrupt than New York is. In New York, you got to get all these unrealistic amount of signatures that if you don't have money, you can't run. He actually has to get the nomination from current elected officials in order to run for office. So you have, in order to beat a corrupt system, you have to be nominated by those corrupt people if you want to run for office. That's even more corrupt than anywhere else.
Wow.
And when
Never
you
heard of
talk
that. That's crazy.
when you talk about socialism, you know how people are going to lose in the end with socialism failing. It's easy to be a capitalist, a socialist in a capitalist country, but it's impossible to be a capitalist in a socialist country. So once you get global communism implemented, there is no going back. There's no trying it and see how it works, and we'll just change it if it doesn't. If it doesn't work out. Once you go down that path, and you're wrong, it's over. There's no. You could go and look at some of these countries. I mean, the fact that America is a free country is why you could see places like Argentina start coming back with and, you know, getting rid of socialist leadership. But once America falls, if America gets socialist, it's global communism and it's over for the world basically. So yeah, Frank said Ireland is lost. There was also a conspiracy theory that said that uh, Conor McGregor is turning more religious and Catholic because it's going to be like Catholic versus the Islamic. You know, there's going to be a civil war in Ireland or something like that. So I'm not going to get into that conspiracy theory. It said that it was Conor McGregor's 33rd fight and Freemasonry and stuff like that. It wasn't his 33rd fight. There's a lot of BS going on the internet, but yeah, there's a lot of countries that are lost causes to try to fix within. But when you do have, you know, people there's things I don't like about Trump, but Trump is trying to do the right thing by Cuba and Venezuela and try to end the communism there. They they can't do it from within. So the only way you get rid of the communism and socialism is with the help of the U.S. So hopefully communism does end in those countries and the people could stop suffering. And so a lot of it isn't just political. that that's like there's the people that in China and all these communist countries that disagree and speak out against the government and they're thrown in the gulags and stuff like that. But a lot of the deaths as a result of communism is starvation. So you literally starve to death. You literally have people eating out of the garbage. So when you think these socialist ideas are free and you see these bread lines and things like that where you're up at early in the morning and waiting to get bread and you know there were too many people in front of you and you wait 4 hours and then it's all gone and you get nothing. So that's socialism for you. So keep up with the bullshit and watch you and every generation after you suffer for the rest of eternity because you were too freaking stupid to realize that socialism leads to communism and communism kills.
Stop fear mongering, Mark.
Mark, stop fear mongering. Stop it.
Ooh, the
Socialism.
man, I'm scaring
All right,
you.
everybody,
That
we
we're
gotta
doing
go.
socialism is the
We gotta go.
different. All right,
Peace
guys.
out.
Bye, guys. We are. If you'd like to make a little donation to keep our show well funded, you can donate here. But I'm gonna leave you with one of my favorite recipes by Kozi.
Today's recipe is called off pie. We're gonna start by putting 1 cup of I'll post whatever the I want, a dash of kiss my ass, a pinch of go yourself, add some little yous to it. You're gonna mix it and stir it all together, and you're gonna shove it up your ass.